All right, I think we just go for it. This is gonna be my Marvel Rivals tier list for One Above All. I have about 120, 130 hours in the game. I mostly play DPS. I am one of the only Storm players, so I'm probably losing according to most, but we make it work. Um, my Storm does normally get target banned sometimes, which is disappointing. But then, hell is in the game and it's more of a nightmare than if Storm would be there. But I am a one above all player. I was top 500 in Overwatch, and this is just my personal opinion of every character and how they fit in top 500 Marvel Rivals. So, starting off, Adam Warlock. It is an order of their name instead of just like random characters. I think Adam is an A tier. I think Adam does a lot that other supports can't, like the Soul Link, providing res, but I am doing this tier list based off just the character and no team up abilities, because then Iron Man would be S, and we got to go based on alone, because Gamma is just overpowered, and we all know that, but we have to go based off the character solely and not their team up. But Adam Warlock can do a lot. He heals a good amount, is basically a sub DPS for your team. His team-wide res is very valuable in my opinion. However, I do see some Adam Warlocks just using in the open, and then we all die to a Doctor Strange E. So I think A is a really good tier for him. Maybe B, but we'll see. Black Panther, I think it depends on the character. Whoever's playing him, like depends on the player. Sorry. Whoever's playing him, I've seen crazy Black Panthers in top 500 that absolutely wreck. But then if your team can turn around, it can help a lot, especially when you're playing support. But sometimes the teams just don't turn around. They just don't. And that just really makes Black Panther very oppressive. But I think there's a lot of counterplay that can go into him, even though he seems unhittable sometimes. So when it comes to Captain America, I know some Captain America players. And when they play Captain America, they just straight one trick him. But I do think compared to other tanks, he is in the C category. I don't think anybody in this game is below a D tier. I think every character is viable. But sometimes it's just like, why would you choose Captain America when you could choose Thor if you're gonna go like a dive tank? The ultimate is awesome. I mean, it's kind of a Luna ult, I think of it, but they do have to run on it and it's not in a radius. So that's like the downside to it. Of course, it keeps him up, gives him a speed boost, gives him the massive shield, and keeps himself up, but sometimes your team just can't get into it reliably and consistently, so I do think it puts him a little bit further behind in the tier list. Doctor Strange S. Just simply, he's an S. Does so much damage. The shield, he can absorb so much damage as well. The portals just can completely change a game, especially on the Venom Underground map. I mean, Strange is regularly banned on that map just because of how vital the TP is, especially on first point. I think he's just an incredible tank. Of course, Magneto can also absorb damage, but he can't do it as well as Doctor Strange, in my opinion. I just think he provides so much value for the team, and he's just crazy. Mr. Groot. I am Groot. I have honestly, I want to say A, just because the walls can provide so much value. They do so much. He honestly does pretty good damage. Honestly, I don't know why he has to reload his arms. That doesn't really make sense to me. But, I'm not a game designer, so I'll let them do as they will. But the wall, his E wall has more health than a Hulk, so it takes a lot of damage to kill that thing. And the wall's granting team bonus health and them attacking people. And the ultimate, I mean, it's just incredible. And it cripples everybody, which is incredible. So I think he's a really solid pick. I just think on attack sometimes is kind of where he is a little bit more lackluster, just because it's a little bit harder to get in there if the other tank isn't coordinated with you or the DPS. Hella, I mean, come on, we all knew S. I mean, there's no way she's anything else. Two taps anybody, has great mobility. Passive is honestly crazy with that crow damage. The ultimate just you know, you can play so aggressive when you have your ultimate and just ult and then, fly up in the sky and have 1,000 health real quick. Of course, it gets countered by Luna, Mantis, Cloak and Dagger ult, but even then, if those characters are banned and you can get your other DPS to get the other support ult out, then you're kind of golden. And I just think she's the most well-rounded character in the game, can do everything. Like, yes, I think Hawkeye and Hela are right there next to each other for sure, just because I'm just gonna go ahead and put him up there. Even though Hawkeye doesn't have like the mobility that Hela has and he's a little bit more vulnerable, he does even more damage than Hela, and it's fucking insane. Like I don't even know, like 380 damage to the head fully charged. That's literally one shots everybody except tanks and two taps tanks. Like that's wild. Hulk A. So oppressive. The bubble is amazing, has great mobility. The right click, I mean, it has good range, good damage, and then the ultimate being able to stall point can be amazing, having that massive health pool. But I will admit, I do think he's kind of a low A tier just because he soaks up a lot of damage. And sometimes your healers, even with Luna and Mantis or Luna and Cloak or something, they really just can't keep up with all that damage. And it's very difficult for them to keep you up. So I think that's the only thing that kind of holds him back. But of course, if I was to include Gamma, he would just be S tier because he's the one that does it. So Iron Man B. Again, not talking about Gamma. The beam and his left click definitely do a lot. Even when he amplifies them without Gamma, still is a pretty good character. The ultimate is always a hit or miss if you're gonna do something with it. You just have to be strategic about it. But I think he's kind of a mid character. I don't think that he can run a lobby by himself unless Gamma is present. So I just think he's kind of just there. Jeff, my little land shark. C. Love him so much. Love his new skin. Love his dolphin skin. Pilot intros are great. But gameplay wise, I feel like he does heal a good amount. If people saying Jeff is like the worst healer, that's not true. If you have a good Jeff on your team, you can definitely make it work. And sometimes those Jeffs with their ultimates can really change the flow of a game. Like the ultimate, getting everyone off point, throwing people off the map, even just getting two people, even one person can really, really change it. But in those overtime moments when everyone has to be on the point, Jeff can really make or break the game. It's good. The bubbles provide movement speed. The right click does a pretty decent amount of damage. It's respectable. And of course, we're not talking about passives, but if you do have the Luna passive, he really does do some more damage. But I just think he's kind of C. When you look at the other healers, they just provide more than Jeff can, sadly, even though he's cuddly and adorable. Loki, I think he's great. I think he provides so much. He does. I think if all three clones are shooting, if all three, like the two clones and yourself are shooting someone, it does so much damage. It can do a lot of healing. It does a lot of healing, but the damage is also really good. The ultimate being able to copy your Luna, your Mantis is amazing. He is very hard to kill sometimes, especially with his invisibility, being able to swap places. And then I just think overall he's a really, really good character. Very well rounded, is able to defend himself, able to run away. Just he does it. He's that girl. Luna Snow, I mean S. Healing incredible. The ultimate is incredible. The freeze is great defensively. And the left click, great. Hello. She does good damage too. And there's a lot of tech that goes into Luna. I asked one of my friends to kind of like let me know like what all Luna did. Even though I play Luna a lot, they are just a better Luna than I could dream. They always get like 70% accuracy. I just like they're incredible, and I mean Luna herself is also incredible for the team. Magic, I would say it depends on the player. I feel like if you're a good Magic, you can make it work. However, if they're running Penny or anti-dive characters, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you. I feel like Magic does require coordination. I don't think she can just go in by herself. I've seen a lot of good Magic players like Ada. They really can kill it in there. But sometimes I just feel like she needs more support where other DPS characters can go on their own and shield themselves, protect themselves, grant over health, something along those lines, and be able to just really help themselves. Or Magic, Yes, she generates shields, but she has to be in their face. And I feel like the portal cooldown is low, but if it was just a tad bit lower, she'd be overpowered. So I think the B tier is where she's gonna stay. Magneto. I honestly am between A and S. I'm gonna do like a high A. Because, like Doctor Strange, he's able to absorb that damage. His shield is like a void, doesn't even take damage, he just absorbs everything. Being able to provide yourself or an ally with a bubble is great. The knockback on his right click is awesome. Does pretty good damage himself too, and the melee looks cool. So, I mean, if the melee looks cool, then obviously the character is going to be good. I'm lying, by the way. That's not true, but he does have a cool melee. It does take forever to come out, though. But just like Doctor Strange, he provides a lot of value where I feel like Doctor Strange portals can do more than Magneto can with mobility and getting your team places. So that's why I put him in A here. Mantis, same with Luna. Healing is great. The damage amplification that you can provide is amazing. Mantis can also, if the Mantis can aim, this bitch is a DPS. Like, my anger is healthy. It's scary. I have been 2-shot by Mantis. I take 10 damage and I'm dead. I'm pretty sure she does like 110 a headshot with the damage boost. And being able to generate your leaves with those headshots is also very vital to play Mantis. So I just think she's an overall like very good support. And the ultimate, I mean, we already know. Immunity, all of your allies, and even if they are full health, it grants shield. So she can also get some damage blocked in with those shields. So I think that's really good. Moon Knight, B. I think if the enemy team is playing grouped up, I think Moon Knight is awesome. If you pair Moon Knight and Groot ult together, like nothing can out heal a Moon Knight ult. I think it's one of the most damaging abilities in the game. I'm not sure. I don't know the numbers exactly. I could look them up, but that takes a lot of work, so I'm not doing that. But I mean, the Groot Moon Knight combo is awesome if you have them both on your team. If they're coordinated and they know what's going on, I think Moon Knight can be awesome. But I don't see a lot of Moon Knight players actually shoot without an Ankh. And if they do, I feel like it kind of tickles. I just feel like kind of like an electric shock when I'm playing anybody against a Moon Knight without an Ankh. However, when the Ankh is down, I'm like, what is this? Like Ankh.com. Like there's no way. There's no way. I don't know. And if your team doesn't shoot the Ankhs, then Moon Knight but creates a lot of value. But I don't think he's gonna be as strong as some of the other DPS. Namor, A. No damage fall off. Infinite ammo. The turrets do so much damage. And he has that shield. Like, the shield is just. That's what I'm saying. When other DPS can really provide support from themselves, Namor is a perfect example. You go up in that bubble, you're invincible, your team has time to heal you, you can suggest I need healing and they can look up. It's just a really good overall ability. And the ultimate, again, like, it can just one-shot a support. It can one-shot Luna and ult, one-shot Mantis and ult. Of course, that does require them to walk into the middle of it, but sometimes they don't really have a choice. They have to either take the damage or run into your team. So I think it can be a really good area denial. Overall, just great damage. I love that it knocks down. And his ultimate also causes Earthbound, which is the crippling effect. So you can't use movement abilities to get out of it. So I just think he's a great character overall, and he just does a lot. Penny, I think Penny slept on. I'm gonna put her B. I think she's above. Honestly, I'd put her here. Penny, no, I'd put Penny high B. Hello? Okay. Penny, I think, is so slept on. Of course, she's easily killed, but if they have dive DPS, Penny is an awesome choice. I think more people need to learn to play her. A lot of people just haven't been using Penny to her maximum value like they've been using Strange and Magneto. I think Penny takes a large brain to use, which obviously I don't have. So, like being able to connect yourself to a wall and fling back to it. I've seen a lot of Penny players in high tier do this. It makes them a lot more mobile than what Penny on paper should be. The nest, of course, creates so much pressure at just being there, and if your team doesn't shoot it, then I mean, come on, your backline or your dive DPS are just getting destroyed. Setting up like little nests of mines sometimes can be awesome too, just in like sneaky places where they can't see when they walk through a doorway and get blown up. That's always satisfying to do on Penny. The ultimate gives her a massive health pool of 1200, I'm pretty sure. She can run around, lay down a bunch of mines, she can set up for the next team fight with it, or she can just dive the backline and try to get out as fast as possible while putting down mines. I think overall she's a great character, just she can't level up to some of the other characters. Rocket, that's our first D. I am so sorry, Rocket players. I appreciate you, but sometimes you gotta swap. Rocket's healing, that's all he provides. He provides the res. Res beacon is great. It can really help your team stay afloat if you get picked off early, out of position, something like that. Rocket res beacon can be very useful. However, other than that, I don't really know what he's providing. The ultimate honestly is a bit lackluster. I hear it and I don't get scared. Every other ultimate, I'm kind of like, oh, it's happening. It's time. But Rocket ult, I kind of just hear it and I'm like, okay. And my team can still keep pushing just because I don't know exactly how much the damage amplification is, but it's not enough for me to get scared. Um, his mobility is good, but he doesn't provide anything other than healing in the res beacon because you never see a rocket with over 5,000 damage in a whole match. They could be there 30 minutes and not. 5,000 is being generous, actually. 2,000. We'll go for 2,000 because I never see a rocket in One Above All with a good damage. They always have a shit ton of healing, but the damage is not there. And other DPS, even Luna with her shift, pierces everybody so she can also help kill those enemies whilst healing, where Rocket can only heal. So I just think he's a little lackluster. Scarlet, I think Scarlet slept on personally, but I do think compared to the other DPS, she is a C. The beam does max health damage. It does 5% of their max health. It can drain them, but if they have healers on the team, then it's kind of like Scarlet can't really do a lot. The ultimate is just look at me, please kill me. That's what it is. It's on paper, it looks amazing, doing a load of damage, but it just doesn't compete. I do think her shift ability is really good, where she can go like in that like phase state. I think that's great for mobility, good for escape, good engage. And she does have that burst option with her right click. So she can do some damage, especially to the back line, but they usually just turn around and kill you, or you have to get out and go get a health pack, unless you have Luna's E on you or something. But I just don't think that she has the burst capabilities that other people do. The E, however, with the stun, I think can be really good into tanks like Doctor Strange and Magneto, because it does force them to either deny that area or they have to walk into it if they're backing up. If I play Scarlet personally, I'm throwing the E behind them as we're pushing, so they're forced to walk into it. It makes Strange put down his shield for like, at least twice. They usually get stunned twice. So I think it can be good. It just I don't know why you're choosing Scarlet. And even though I choose Scarlet, I don't know why I'm choosing Scarlet over anyone else. You know what I mean? Like, I'll call myself out. I shouldn't choose Scarlet, but I'm still going to do it anyway. Spider-Man, I think, is low C. I have seen good Spider-Man. I've played with Necros multiple times. I mean, I've dipped him on Psylocke. Like, I don't know. I just don't think Spider-Man can compete. He is so squishy. He has to dive in. And of course he can get out. But if you mess with the combo, which is easy to do, I feel like on Spider-Man, then you're kind of cooked. You don't do enough damage. The ultimate Luna ult, Mantis ult, Cloak ult. I mean, I don't really know what Spider-Man can provide. I think he's the worst DPS, in my opinion. And that might be controversial, but I think he's garbage, in my opinion. I don't like seeing a Spider-Man. I do like seeing Spider-Man pull people off the map. That's always funny. But other than that, I don't know what he's going to do that the other DPS can't. Don't mess with the Star-Lord. I think I want to put him in S. I'm going to put him in S. I mean, damage is amazing. Mobility amazing. That right click with the invincibility is so annoying to go against. And then you have the ultimate and the animation cancel. If you primary the exact same second that you ult, you completely avoid the animation and get more time in your ultimate. It's great. I sound like the Frosted Flakes guy, but it's really good. He can provide pressure on the tanks, pressure on the backline. The E and the 1v1 situations, not having to aim and just doing that damage to them can be amazing in those situations. I just think overall he's a great character, very versatile, and yeah, he's hard to hit also, which is just so annoying. Okay, I'm not going to be biased here. I do think Storm is C. I don't think she's capable of B yet. Storm players that I've seen aren't playing Storm right. I want to make a Storm guide. If you all would be interested in that, please let me know. I would love to do one. Of course, it's gonna be sloppy like this video is. This I'm not used to recording myself, but I want to get more comfortable with it, and making a Storm guide would be awesome. Storm provides her team with damage boost and speed boost. All of her attacks pierce, but she can't land headshots. I see a lot of Storms just flying at the skybox or like mid air level, and they just get picked off because that's not how you're supposed to play Storm. Like, let's say you have a Hela on your team, play with the Hela, stay right next to her, give her damage boost, play with your team, give them all 8% damage boost. When you amplify the E, it gives you 30% and then gives your team 12. I mean, 12% damage boost to your entire team is massive when it's a constant. I think Storm can win 1v1s. It's a little bit more difficult. I think you have to have your amplified E, but still, compared to the other DPS, I just don't think she can measure up, sadly. But I think she can be really good. The ultimate, I mean, it can be a game changer, but same with every other DPS ultimate. If they have Lunar or Mantis ult, you're kind of cooked unless you get those out by another DPS. I think Storm can be very valuable. Just I think we need to learn to play her. I think she is getting buffed next season though. I'm just praying. I'm praying they buff her a little bit in some area. So I need her to be broken like everyone else. Punisher, I would say he's a very solid pick. I'd say he's A. Very consistent damage. The shotgun, if you get in their face, just two taps them. The turret can be very oppressive. Of course, it's easily killable, but with it's still up, you have to peek it constantly. It can destroy those Groot walls, melt those shields. I think it's really good. He has good mobility with the zip line. The smoke, honestly, when I play Punisher, I don't even use it. I need to get better at that. But the smoke, I mean, gives you that little jump backwards or wherever you're looking in that direction. So it is good for movement as well, and it does some damage. The smoke left over kind of does it like blurs vision a little bit, so that's good. The ultimate, I mean, it's just a straight laser. It's a straight laser. It can melt everything. You hear that, you kite that. Everyone kites that. You just run back, you wait for it to be over. It does, even if you're not hitting anything, which you should be, but if you're not, it still provides enough pressure for the team to have to back up and for you to gain space. So I think he's overall a great character. Thor, I'd say Thor's A. I think Thor can do a lot. I remember in beta, I was like, what does Thor even do? I feel like Thor's useless, but seeing people play Thor the way that they're doing it, they can provide so much pressure on the back line. I see Thor's just diving, coordinating with their Black Panther or their magic, and just really destroying people in ranked. It's crazy. Thor does so much damage, especially when he uses his lightning blasts or whatever. I don't know what it's called. I'm sorry. Um, it does a lot of damage, lasts a long time, and then he can get it directly back with his E and regain his hammers. So I think it's really good. He has great movement, high health pool, gains shield. The ultimate is a really good area denial, and it does damage over time before it lands. So I think it's a really good ultimate overall. Venom, I think more people need to play Venom. I think Venom is low B. Venom can be so good into those dive DPS, or even like honestly, I think Venom is best into those sniper characters. Even though he's gonna get melted, he then can provide himself with that massive shield, crazy amount of shield. I think he's really good against Hawkeye, even though when I play Hawkeye, I do melt Venom, but I just don't think people are playing Venom correctly. I think he needs to really put pressure on those snipers and just get out. Get healed, go right back to it so they're not focusing your team. If they're focusing you, then that gives that DPS is on the tank, while the other two DPS are focused on your team. Does that make sense? Like the enemy two DPS are then able to focus on your team with one DPS down while you're focusing them on Venom. I think Venom can provide a lot. The ultimate is great, provides them with more shield, more survivability. The movement, of course, with the swing is great. But I don't think, like I said, I don't think he can compete with the other tanks right now. Um, but still, I think he's great overall. Again, man, B. I think he's good. High B. High B. I think he's good. Honestly, higher than Penny. High B, again, man, with the pulls can do a lot. If your Bucky's landing his pulls, he's great. The being able to reload after everything, if you're a really good Bucky player and you cycle those cooldowns, you never stop shooting. The slow from his E is also really good. And the ultimate, I mean, again, like we all know it's again. We know when it's happening, we fear for our life, and we just run away. So I think he's really great. I I think Namor can provide more than Bucky can sometimes. Same with Punisher, but I think he's a really good DPS, and in certain situations, or even just if the Bucky player is well and good and has like at least 80 IQ, they can really put in some work. Psylocke high A. She is an amazing DPS. Go into the back line, invisible, left click, right click, left click, and they're dead. The ultimate, so much value, always pops a support ult off for your other DPS to go in. Or if the support ult is gone from another DPS ult, then you literally just get some free kills with Psylocke ult. And you can kill multiple people with it in a big radius. Her movement is great. Providing herself with overshield is really nice in those like 1v1 situations, and the invisibility with the movement speed is just very crucial to her gameplay. Really makes her that flank DPS that we love to see. Um, and I didn't know this, but whenever you left click somebody, it actually lowers your cooldowns. So land those shots, get your dashes back up, get your right click back up. I think she's really, really good. Almost S. Squirrel Girl, I don't think she's D. I think she's better than Spider-Man. Um, she does great burst damage. Junkrat is really annoying to go against in Overwatch. Same with Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl does provide roots. She can root people with her right click and then refresh it with her E and then root them again. And once they're rooted, I mean, they're rooted long enough for Squirrel Girl to land 2 shots, which instantly kills anybody if they don't get healing. Just that not get healing part is really important. But I think she's really good into certain characters like Groot. She can break Groot walls so fast. I think she's good into Hulk because she melts him. But again, I don't really see Squirrel Girls in high tier gameplay. Same with Spider-Man and Scarlet and Storm. You don't really see a lot of these characters. So that's why they're down here. I haven't really seen anyone really use them to their full potential yet. Black Widow. Honestly, I feel like there. I think. Oh no, wait. Kind of adjusting this just a little bit. Black Widow, people are like, she's garbage, she's horrible. You haven't seen these Black Widows in One Above All. Some of them, there are certain people like Kendrick and Sniper Master is really good. ZZZ is really good at Widow. Give Widow damage boost for Mantis or Storm. They can run it. They can completely destroy it. Oh, and don't let me forget Goth GF Lover. Horrible name, but a really good Widow player. Even though Widow only has the sniper in her kick, the kick is a really good get off me tool. Even though it is only 2 meters, you can one shot someone if you land the kick because you just shoot them after you kick them, shoot them, and then pull them in, and then shoot them again, and they're dead. And the plasma burst, you can actually charge it. I don't know if a lot of people know that. You can actually hold left click and it charges up, so there's more plasma on the ground. And if you step on that plasma, you literally can't move. So it's like a 99% slow or something. It's crazy. But I think Black Widow can be really good. Again, I think it just depends on the player. My man Iron Fist. I think he's better than Spider-Man. Yeah, he's better than Scarlet. I think Iron Fist is annoying. He's literally flying in the air, just kicking Iron Man in the face. Like, just what's going on? How did we design this character? However, Iron Fist can't. He just doesn't provide a lot. There are some Iron Fist players in One Above All, and sometimes you're just like, Iron Fist, can you switch? And they say no, and you're like, whatever. And they're just not doing anything, even though from their perspective, I'm sure they are. But for a team game, like they're not really doing a lot to provide us with more pressure when like a Black Panther, if you wanted to play like a melee DPS, could provide more, or Magic, for instance. I think the right click being able to provide yourself that shield is good, but then they just get out with it. Like they don't go in because they have to or else they'll die. He has great mobility and the ultimate is good, but I just don't see him matching up to any of the other melee DPS right now. Cloak and Dagger, hard A. Hard A. I mean, it's a 2-in-1 combo. Who doesn't love a buy one get one free? I mean, cloak with the little black wall thing, being able to amplify damage and blind can be very useful, especially for those auto lock characters like Scarlet. When you're blinded, it doesn't lock onto anyone because you can't see anybody. So you're just sitting there kind of like sucking the wall and you're like, what's going on? Um, and then the going into the Dark Force mode with his right click, getting that mobility, you can really save your team from some ultimates. It is very difficult though, because if they do anything other than just walk, they could jump and it gets them out of it. So you kind of have to do it last second, but it can be very useful. And then Dagger with her healing is great. Amplifying everyone's healing with her veil, her E, the little wall, is amazing. And the auto lock with the heals, and whenever you heal somebody, it heals in a radius. It heals everybody and I think it's really good. The ultimate heals 225, only 25 less than Luna a second, but you can stack it. So if you do 3 on top of each other, it's about 650 healing, 675 maybe. It's great. The damage is a little lackluster in the ultimate, but it's mostly for the healing, of course. You can spread it out on the point so your team can walk onto it, do it in a straight line so your team has like just a straight fire way to get onto the point. I think it's really good. I think Cloak and Dagger is amazing. I think more people should play Cloak and Dagger. Um, I think Mantis and Luna still provide a little bit more value than Cloak and Dagger, but still, I think they're great. I think they're incredible and they're pretty. And I like the Venus Flytrap skin. I'm a little biased, but I like it. Last but not least, we have Mr. Wolverine. Definitely high up. I would say high B, almost A. I think that, kidnapping somebody with that rage is great. And these Wolverine players, and one above all, my friend's a Wolverine player. He made a Smurf, one tricked Wolverine, got all the way up to Eternity again. Um, really provides so much pressure for the enemy team. The passive is great. Being able to reduce the damage and resetting your claw attacks with the right click is amazing. The ultimate with full rage can basically one shot every squishy. Um, I think overall he provides a lot of value that other DPS can't, like the melee DPS. Magic, of course, and Darkchild can destroy, but then Wolverine has the pressure without his ultimate. Do you know what I mean? With the kidnap, I think he does so much. Um, but yeah, overall, if I was to adjust anything, um, I might put Moon Knight a little bit higher. Keep Black Panther and Magic right there because they're kind of similar. Mm, I'd put Namor a little bit higher, I think. Namor is just really good. Cloak and Dagger's great. I think Magneto can stay there. Um, yeah, I guess this is it. I guess this is my official one above all Marvel Rivals tier list. I think every character, regardless of who you play, is viable. Play what makes you happy. Don't force yourself into something you're not going to be happy with. But I just think, poor Rocket, man. He's just vibing. But anyway, um, thank you so much for watching if you made it to the end. I'm very surprised if you did, and I really appreciate that. My socials will be linked below. I'm probably streaming right now if you want to come watch. It's, Fuwa Frost. That's my name. So come check it out. You can see me get annoyed by Moon Knight's onks or getting destroyed by a Psylocke if that's what you're into. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching so much. And hopefully if you want that storm guide, let me know. Thanks guys. Have a great rest of your day.